Reunited and it feels so weird. Brandon Staley interviews with the Rams. The Galaxy add the first of two potential franchise-altering wingers. And even if the Lakers strike out at the trade deadline, they could surprise in the buyout market of all places. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is January 31st, 2024. Lovely day. So lovely, my wife bought flowers. And the reason I am showing you guys some of those flowers is maybe if I show off the flowers, I might get lucky later. But in the meantime, let's talk a little LA sports. If you like being in the know about LA, click and clack the like button. Click and clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment. I do try to reach back with you guys. Now, before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, Atlanta whooped the Lakers. 138-122. Austin Reeves scored 28 points, but the annoying Lakers slipped under 500 again. Anthony Davis didn't even play. He said after Monday's loss in Houston that his groin felt a little sore. And once again, to repeat, we have a strict don't explore men's groins policy here at Faithful Angelenos. As a side note, we all know this. The scribes love hyping the drama with the Lakers. You know that. After the match, they were writing things, a frustrated LeBron James sends cryptic posts on social media. What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means you scribes are acting like you're 12. Grow the hell up. Meanwhile, today, the Clippers are at Washington at 4 and the Kings are at Nashville at 4:30. Here's a fun fact about the Kings. Cam Talbot hasn't won since Christmas. Boy. Let's get to the news. The Rams will, in fact, interview former defensive coordinator Brandon Staley about a potential return, according to the NFL Network. In his only year as Rams defensive coordinator, the team had the top defense in the NFL, and that dude's trajectory for his career at that time was just off like a rocket. He was hired immediately to be the head coach of the Chargers, and of course, because that was too much too soon, the entire franchise was ground into mulch. He's already interviewed with Miami and Green Bay about it being a defensive coordinator again, but this is my problem. We've already discussed about how his defensive schemes did not translate well with the Bolts. They never fared better than 21st in terms of points allowed. The Rams don't exactly have the same personnel they did when Staley was there the first time now. Remember, when they decided to tear their roster apart, they did not tear the offensive side of the ball down. They said, you know what? We're going to see if we can rebuild our defense pretty much from scratch and hope the offense can carry the day. The only player I believe that was there when Brandon Staley was there is Aaron Donald, which is a nice building block to have, don't get me wrong. But Staley loves some complicated Xing and O'ing. I don't think he's the right guy for the Rams. Yahoo Sports also reported that the Rams have interviewed former Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera about the defensive coordinator gig. Now, this brings the number of interviewed candidates with the Rams to 4. We had previously talked about winger Gabriel Peck coming to the Galaxy from Brazilian top flight club Vasco da Gama. Now, you might sit there and say, okay, they paid $10 million for this dude and I never heard of him. How is this a big deal? It is. Put it this way. MLSsoccer.com for once decided not to run photos of Lionel Messi all over the homepage of their website. They actually demoted Messi so that they could tell you that the Galaxy signed Peck. So apparently this is a big deal. Now the 22-year-old just doesn't have one or two random TikTok clips out there. He's got a ton of highlights because Galaxy officials went out on their press conference and touted his relentless work rate. In other words, it's not just one or two magical things that you'll see online. It's that he is constantly pressuring so much that as a result, good things happen. He scored 26 goals in his career. Now that's probably going to translate to a minimum of 8 goals for the Galaxy this year, which would be good because that would have led the team last year. But he doesn't have to lead the team. Peck's signing indicates a striking change in approach with what the Galaxy are trying to accomplish. To quote MLS writer Mike Gray, the outdated Galacticos era is finally dead and buried. So what is the Galacticos method, the Galacticos era? In other words, that was signing a big name from a European league and hoping that he could carry you for the entire season as he hobbles off to the retirement home. That used to be the Galaxy way, frankly. For example, a few years ago, the Galaxy signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They get one guy who could pass to him, one quality midfielder who knew how to pass to him, Christian Pavon. And the coaching staff is literally like, hey, Christian, I know Zlatan has 8 guys surrounding him right now. Get him the ball anyway. That literally was the Galaxy way for arguably the last decade under Chris Klein. And the Galactica way reached a new low last year. Because not only has Zlatan gone and retired, they replaced him about 3 or 4 years ago with Chicharito. Chicharito, the all-time leading scorer in Mexican national team history. But Chicharito blew out his knee last year. So midfielder Ricky Puig had nobody to pass the ball to. Nobody who was getting open on a consistent basis. No Galaxy player scored more than 7 goals last year. Meanwhile, if you're over at LAFC, you're watching Dennis Mwanga push across damn near 30. So the new vision for the LA Galaxy are not elite, over-the-hill European League players. The new vision is giving Puig multiple strikers up front to feed. Think of it as like being a point guard and having 3 all-stars surrounding you. Who's going to get the ball? Nobody knows. Good luck trying to double team. If the Galaxy do land that third striker, they are going to be very, very difficult to stop. Now, the LA Times thinks that third striker could come soon because the front office said that they want to exhaust their designated player contracts before the start of the year. The Galaxy have one more DP contract left to give out. They listed 4 possibilities, did the LA Times. Now, to be clear, all of those possibilities are marginally plausible internet rumors. So we don't know if that third one is just around the corner. We'll have to be patient. The NBA trade deadline is next Thursday. That would be February 8th. CBSSports.com asked what the NBA Western Conference teams need and what it can offer in trade. Their assessment about the Lakers came off as something that you and I have been talking about for weeks. But, give CBS credit for thinking outside the box. They concluded their assessment of the Lakers with something quite compelling: the buyout market. If you recall, that is how Russell Westbrook landed with the Clippers. The Lakers sent him to Utah. Utah had no intention of playing him. None whatsoever. So what Utah did was they bought out Westbrook's contract. He's a free agent. The Clippers go out and sign him. Now the Lakers theoretically could offer any bought out star what the Clippers can and more, because the Lakers have the pedigree and the Clippers don't. You get the LA lifestyle. You can parlay playing in LA into a larger contract. LA is a basketball town. So CBS threw out a couple of names of people that could get bought out. Now, these are not predictions, but this is an example of what the Lakers could wind up doing without having to trade anybody at all. Kyle Lowry, Gordon Hayward. They could get bought out. And if that's the case, of course the Lakers would knock on the door. We also mentioned that story from CBSSports.com went over both LA teams. So the Clippers, what about them? Well, they're obviously red hot now, no doubt about that. But they've been red hot in the regular season before, and then they face plant because their defense leaks more than dudes in a waiting room at a free clinic. There's a lot of leakage going on that defense. And frankly, in the trade market, the pickings are a little slim for them. They have 2 second rounders in this summer's draft. And from then on, they won't be on the clock for a draft pick until 2030. 2030. Let's be real. Does anybody believe that either Trump or Biden would be alive by then? Of course not. That's how far off those Clippers' next draft picks would be. What the Clippers do also have to offer is a very tradable forward in PJ Tucker. But it's hard to see them, I should say, taking a guy who hasn't played in 2 months plus 2 second-round picks and translating that into a quality starter. This just honestly seems like a fringe trade opportunity for the Clippers at best. Even still, hell, you could see PJ Tucker going on the buyout market. And yes, I am suggesting the possibility that if he gets bought out, the Lakers might lob him a call too. We now know who picked up the second of the 3 baseball caps that LAFC sent out in the mail. It's something that they do on social media. They take an LAFC cap, they put it in a box, send it off. It builds anticipation. It basically their version of a Hollywood cliffhanger. They've signed a player. LAFC have signed left back Omar Campos from Liga MX club Santos Laguna. Now, Campos scored just 3 times last year, but again, he's a defender. Goals aren't necessarily the high reason that you signed a defender. Let's be honest about that. Campos also played for the Mexican national team. It's a curious signing. There are some people who think because he played for Mexico's national team that this is going to be a big deal and really terrific. It could be. It could. Because he's going to get immediate playing time. He's going to step right into the slot that was created when Diego Palacios left for Brazil. So it makes sense. It does. But what makes this signing risky is that Santos Laguna was the only team in Liga MX to concede an average of 2 goals a match last year. That defense was terrible. Now, as for the third mysterious baseball cap, we think we know who's going to get that. The Athletic is reporting that LAFC is finalizing a deal to land Colombian forward Tomas Angel. Dude is 20. Scored 3 times for Colombia in the U20 World Cup. Now, if that is the case, that would bring LAFC's roster to 19 players with 11 roster spots yet to be filled. So, still, tons of work for both soccer teams in the coming weeks. But let me know what you think in the comments thread. Do you actually think Brandon Staley deserves a second shot with the Rams? Who do you imagine coming to the Galaxy to try to add some variety to that offense? And if you enjoy the conversation, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Quien Corte El Queso production. Take care.